Hi, my name is Sal, and I am an alternative practitioner of acupuncture kinesiology. I've got a number of clients who are interested in the carnivore diet, and I've recommended bone broth for them. And for their benefit, as anyone else who might be interested, this is how I make bone broth. First of all, I recommend an electrical pressure cooker as against the more traditional one. They're far more efficient and they're much easier to control. So, one piece of bone, rather a large piece. I'd like to add half a kilo of mincemeat. The reason for this is to add some extra potassium, which there isn't exactly a lot of in our diet, although meat does contain potassium, but clearly nowhere near as much as we have been used to when eating vegetables. So I add that. I'm just going to bring some water. So I'm going to fill this to the top. There's a line, there's a marker line on it. And I'll just go to the maximum line. It really is very simple. So this has two adjustments. So I put it on to steam. I adjust it to 15 psi, that's the maximum pressure, and I'll put it on for 2 hours. So that's 120 minutes. I will repeat this operation 4 times. After 4 times, I'll show you an old one. So after 4 times, you'll get something like this. Now this is already so I've already used this a few times, so you can see that's the jelly. And I just get some of this jelly and I put this into a cup. Now I personally like to do this 4 times a day. So I'll put half a cup full of jelly with water, boil it. I'll put a pinch of salt in there and I'll drink that 4 times a day, and that suits me. It's an easy way of getting my sodium needs and having the bone broth, which is really quite important to have if you are on a carnivore diet. After I've done this 4 times, I will come back and I will redo this all over again, and I'll show you the second part in a minute. Right, so I've already done about 9 hours worth, and still the bones, big bones, so I'm going to do this a second time round. And so it's giving me this full to the brim, which is still warm. This will go into the fridge, and I'll show you later. So once more, I've taken out the meat that there was. I will go to the chickens, and I will add another 500 grams of meat, of minced meat. And I'll fill it to the brim once more. Okay, so sequence again is the same. Steam 15 psi, and I'll put this in for 2 hours, 120 minutes. And I will repeat this 4, 5 times, as many times as I can be bothered to do so, because although there will be less gelatin on this one, we'll get more of the minerals like the calcium, and we need as much as we can get our hands on. So I have done the second batch. I've left it in there for about 10 hours. So now just pour it all into a bowl. It doesn't look as exciting as the first batch. It's sort of darker in texture, color, but it's just as good in a slightly different way. Okay, and so this is the leftovers. So we'll leave that. It needs to cool down. And here is the first batch. So this is the first batch, and quite solid. Just cut it open, give you a demonstration of what actually happens. I'll just take some of the fat out of the way. I used to give the fat to my dog, but he's always munching and eating the shit from the birds. So unfortunately, although he's meant to be carnivore in his diet, because he's eating the bird poo, he's putting weight on, so I'll have to stop giving him too much extra fat. Anyway, so here, there you go, you can see, and that's the jelly. So now what I do is I'll take some of this thick jelly, and I just do half a cup. That's all I do. I fill it up with water, boil it, put a pinch of salt, and that's it. I drink that twice a day. Then twice a day, I go from this one and I do exactly the same. I put half a cup, mix it with water, pinch of salt, and I drink that. If you are on low oxalate diet, then this second one is really useful to drink with your meal, so that the calcium will go and it will bind with the oxalate. So it means it'll go out of your body. With the second one, I keep it simple, but you could add an onion, you could add a carrot, you could add a bit of a thyme or bay leaf, even a bit of garlic if you wanted. And you would cook it with it, and at the end of the day you would strain that, so you wouldn't eat that, you just have the liquid and a bit more flavoursome. Okay, that's it. Enjoy.